Well, who saw this coming? Jay Slater's family are to meet with Spanish police today because the police have called off the search for their teenager in that mountainous area of Tenerife.
Families say that they're going to continue to look themselves after being left what they say is disappointed by a call for volunteers, which saw just 6 people turn out to look for the teenager over the weekend.
So joining us now from Marbella is the journalist Gerard Couzens. Gerard, was this a turn-up for the book? Because just a couple of days ago it seemed that the police were intensifying the search with even more police officers on the search, and then abruptly, it seems, all over.
It was a surprise. I mean, as you say, they brought in the dog reinforcements from Madrid on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. But I suppose I had a sense when they suddenly announced that large-scale operation for Saturday, which turned out not to be so large after all, that could be a final push. I wasn't expecting the police to say the following morning, we're calling it off, but that's what they did. So yes, it did come as a surprise.
Do we know why? Is it because they've decided he's dead and they can't, and it's such in the terrain they're searching for, they could be looking for a needle in a haystack, effectively, Gerard?
No, I don't think they've decided that. I think the reason that they've called it off is simply that with the information they've got available in terms of his last known phone location, they've searched and researched as best they can all the areas that he could be in. Obviously, if he's carried on walking and done unexpected things once his phone's off, he's switched to a completely different area of Tenerife in whatever way he did, then they've not got that information to go on. They cannot just simply blindly change municipalities and start searching in another area without something to go on. So I wouldn't deduct from this that they think he's in that area but dead, because I think they'd carry on searching if that was the case.
Another thing that I find utterly baffling, Gerard, and I'm not alone in this, is that the 2 gentlemen that he went back to the house with, the Airbnb that was rented, the police say they've spoken to those people, but they are not anybody of relevance to the investigation. Do we think that side of the investigation is being handled correctly? Surely that house will have been protected as potentially a crime scene or have some part in his disappearance.
Yeah, I think it was a slight, the way he phrased himself, the mountain rescue expert, was slightly unfortunate. He was asked for some clarification afterwards, and he said, look, they've been spoken to by the investigators and have been ruled out in terms of having any link to as being responsible for the disappearance. Jay was obviously seen leaving the house alone. Those 2 men weren't with him at the time, and no one has come forward to say they subsequently saw those 2 men with him. I don't know in what capacity those 2 men have been spoken to, whether it was, a long interview in a police station in Tenerife or elsewhere in Spain, but the police have been clear for them. These men are not involved in the disappearance of Jay, and we're not being given the impression that in any way they're trying to entrap these 2 men. Subsequently, they've said that on the record, 2 or 3 times.
OK, all right, thank you very much. Gerard Couzens there, a journalist in Marbella. I still think it's one of the most bizarre stories.
It is a weird case, isn't it?